1 Corinthians 3 and 16 and 17. Do you not know that you are the temple of God? We all are temples, okay? And that the Spirit of God dwells in you. If anyone defiles the temple of God, will destroy him. For the temple of God is holy, which are you. What is holy? To be set apart. We are the temple of God. We present our life as living sacrifices unto God, okay? And there's three things that's been preached in this church for over 18 years now. It's the three things that everybody knows. Pray every day. Read your word. Come to church every time the doors open. Now, those things don't save you, but I guarantee you it's work for me of keeping this temple clean and purified and holy. Those three things has kept me from going back to the old Antonio before BC. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20. And or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have God, and you are not your own, for you were bought for a price. And that's my time. You was bought for a price for Jesus Christ, who's able to use you. So when you go out in this world, know that you can be used by God.
Come on, give Jesus a praise. Woo! Wow. Pastor Antonio Frey. Stay standing. Let's give a big round of applause. Coming to the pulpit now, I've got Pastor Perrice Gonzales.
Going off that, we were bought with a price. It says in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. The price that he had to pay was his blood. I want to talk to y'all about love. I want to talk to y'all about how we take offense sometimes. We take offense a certain way because of the love that we lack. And you don't want to think that you lack love, but the way that God loves is completely different than the way that we love. Let's look in Luke 6, chapter 6, verse 32. Can you pull that on the screen? I'm going to read mine. For if you love those who love you, what thanks do you receive? For even sinners love those who love them. How hard is it for us to love people that don't love us? How difficult is it for us to love people that come against us from time to time? People that hurt us in a way. When we get saved, we have this love that is inside of us that we don't know how to tap into. And it's very difficult to love somebody. Let's go. The Bible also tells us to love people, love your neighbor as yourself. You know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? So this is where I want to go with this. How can you love somebody the way that you want them to love you unless you love yourself, right? But how can you love yourself if you really don't know what love is, right? We grow up in a world that contorts and perverts what love is. We grow up in a world and a society that tells us love is this way, love is that way. We watch movies where people get married and it's just perfection and you're like, oh man, I want that. I want to meet that girl and just fall in love and sparks fly. And that's not how it works. That's not what, like, love is a decision. Love is not just that feeling you get in your chest like, yes, that's love. But love is keeping to that and sticking to that and making sure that you remember that's what drove you to make the decision that you made and the commitment that you made and sticking to that commitment. That's love. Love is a commitment. Love is committing to something and sticking to it even though you don't want to, even though you don't like the person, somebody that hurts you, somebody that makes you feel anger or rage. We're supposed to love them. It goes into what offense is. So many times in the Bible, offense is brought up, and there's the Greek word for offense and the Hebrew word for offense. And offense just means to cause someone to stumble. So when somebody comes against you or somebody says something that you don't like, they're offending you. They are causing an offense, right? So either I can cause an offense, but on the other side, you have to receive the offense. So you have to become offended. So somebody can cause an offense and you still not become offended. Throughout this world, there will always be people that cause offense. But with that love that God gives us, that love that we can tap into that's unlike any love that's in this world, we can push that away and not receive that offense and do what God asks us to do, which is love those who love. For if you love those who love you, what thanks do you receive? Even sinners love people that love them. We're supposed to be set apart, but how can we be set apart if we do the same things that they do? If we only love people that love us, God shows love, but he shows love to people who pierce him in the side or put nails in his hand on a cross. He shows love to people who spit on him and beat him and call him names. Can we do that? It's very hard. I can't do that without calling on his name. It's without Christ, we can't do anything. We need him to show us what that love is. And when he shows us what that love is, it brings up past hurts and past pains and things that we dealt with so long ago that we thought we were over when we tried to do it in our own power. And God says, no, you got to give that to me. Let me take that. Let me take that burden off of you. And then he shows us what love really is. My God, he shows us what love really is. Something that happened to you 20 years ago that just tore your soul or made you feel like you were worthless, like you were nothing, that you wouldn't become anything. And then he says, forgive him. And you're like, what? Forgive him. Let him know. Reach out to him. Let him know you love him. Like, this person destroyed my life. They made me feel like I would be nothing. But I want you to think, what am I thanking him for? I ask myself, what am I thanking this person for? Because they showed me a different kind of love that this world can't show, that I can really overcome and love somebody who hates me and love somebody that seeks to destroy me. And through that love, you can transform a person's mind. When somebody sees you displaying that love to somebody else, they can't fathom what it is that you're doing. They have no idea. It doesn't register in this mind. Like, how can you show that love to this person when I watch them literally cuss and spit on you? And it's Christ. There's no other explanation. There's no other example that we can give that would turn somebody to Christ besides his love. That is the ultimate thing that he gives us to display on this world. That was the thing that he showed us. That's his ultimate gift to us. In 1 Corinthians, Paul talks about if I have this and if I have that, if I can do this and I can do that, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. Nothing that we can do in this world means anything if we don't have the love that Christ gives us.
Woo! Give it up for Jesus some more. Oh, my gosh. Can't do nothing without love, baby. All right, now coming to the pulpit, I've got Pastor Michael Lonoae'a.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Amen. Give it up for Jesus. Give it up for Jesus. All right, story time. I'm going to take it back to about 2009, 2008. Y'all can sit down, have a seat. I'm 16, 17 years old. I just came to this church. And I remember that like yesterday. We've been coming here for a couple months. And I was standing over, not sure what side, but Pastor brought me up here. And y'all probably seen it live, because some of y'all been here. Or you seen it on the screen a couple months ago, because I remember him playing it. Had my fro standing right there. Had my arms lifted high. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't feel something. I'd be lying to you. The man I was at 16, 17 years old, playing football, had scholarships to play football, this big guy, couldn't tell me nothing. I'd be lying to you right now if I didn't have an experience with Jesus at that moment. But what if I was to tell you that was the beginning and end of my relationship with Christ? What if I was to tell you that? In the midst of that, shaking and lifting my hands, crying and weeping and jumping all over this place, that was the beginning and end of my relationship with Christ. Who loves encounters with God? My God, I thank God for the encounters that we have in this place. When God comes down and meets us and we can get outside ourselves and get crazy, those encounters. But is that it? Is that it? Is that all we're living for is just encounters? And you're asking, what are you talking about? That's all I experienced on that day. It was an encounter with Christ. That's all I experienced. Because when I went back out into this world, I was living like a crook Monday through Saturday. And if I was to tell you, it took me several years to get a hold of what God really wanted for my life. So you think this is a message of discouragement, but it really isn't. Because it shows you that in my life, even though I came into this place, I came into this atmosphere, because the same atmosphere we have right now, we had years ago as well. I remember being in this place, and this place was packed, and you couldn't even find a parking spot. Even that, though, didn't change my life fully. I had an encounter with God. I know I did. I'll be lying if I tell you if I didn't. I had an encounter with him. But there was something hiding. I was hiding. Something dark inside my soul I didn't want light to show. Is that all we're living for? I'm asking you that. Is that what all you've come here on Sundays and Wednesdays to have an encounter with Christ? You come out here and you praise and worship with God, and you're dancing around, and pastor opens up the stage, and he comes up here and he prays for you, and you lift your hands up, and he kicks you in your chest, and then you fall on the ground, and then Wendy comes up and she puts a blanket on your backside because your crack is showing. Is that the extent of your relationship with God? Who knows the encounters with God is a blessing? I don't only want an encounter. I want a transformation. I need a transformation in my life. Because the person I was that day, I needed some light in this heart of mine. I needed the light to shine upon me. And some people may be in this day. And I don't want you to be discouraged. I'm here to encourage you. I was in that place. I was there. I was there at that time. I need a transformation. You need a transformation. You need a transformation. I'm getting tired of being the place where I was last year and the year before that. I'm tired of walking in this sickness. I'm tired of going under and not over. I'm tired of being the tail and not the head. Get my message today. It is not discouragement. You have power. You have power to walk in the authority that God has given you. There's some things, though, you are holding inside that you don't want the light to see. You may be discouraged because other people over you got it together. You've seen this person be blessed in his life. You're seeing this person being blessed. And you don't see it relevant in your life. And it's okay. It's okay. But when you surrender to God, a transformation takes place. The old man, the BC Michael, is no longer, the people that used to see me, they can't tell me without a shadow of a doubt. They can come up to me and they see the old Michael in me. Because the man I am today, I wouldn't be up on this stage preaching about God. I wouldn't have the family I am today. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be going over and not under. I am the tail. I am the head and not the tail. I am blessed everywhere I go. No man can shut any door that God has opened for me in my life. Stop looking at other people around you, especially in this place. You can get discouraged real quick because there's people that are getting blessed and blessed and blessed. Focus on your blessing. Focus on what God has in store for you. And don't come in here and just having encounters with God. It's a drive-through mentality. That you come in here and you ride the coats of pastor and the coats of other. And don't get this hard preaching. I'm encouraging you today. That if God can change a man like me, a heart full of anger and lust and just hated people and pitied people, if he can change a heart like me, if he can change me, if he can change my ways, as long as I surrender and I give everything to him, a transformation needs to take place in our lives, people. This is not a one-way street. God is stepping out and he's reaching down Lift your head up and reach up for him. Lift your hand up, man of God. Lift your hand up, woman of God. Don't let this world mentality make you any lesser than you think you are. You are a man of God. You are a woman of God. Everything that every promise, every scripture that he promises in our Bible, you walk in that authority. You walk in his promises. You grab a hold of the rugged cross, and you never look back, because Michael, the old Michael, is dead. And no matter how many times he tries to come back, I surround myself with godly people. I make decisions to speak life into my situation, because I was no longer wanting to have encounters. I was tired of that. I wanted a transformation.
This microphone's on fire. Woo! Woo! We ain't playing around tonight, guys. We ain't playing around tonight, church. Woo! Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, come on, are you ready? Oh, that fire's spreading now. All right, with no further ado, coming to the pulpit, Pastor Lonnell Middleton. Come on up here, Pastor.
Give God some praise. Give him some praise. Raise him up. Raise him up. Now look, y'all would think we planned this. It's so funny. Antonio talked about remodel, temple, my God. Perrice talked about love. And guess what? What happens when you do remodel? Transformation, right? Hey, I come to talk to you about doubt. That's what happens when that transformation comes. That doubt comes into your life. What you gonna do? So I'm going to go to Matthew 11 and verse 2. Follow with me. And when John had heard in prison about the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples, 2 of his followers, and said to them, go ask Jesus, are you the coming one, or do we look for another? Outside of the disciples, no one had more confirmation than John. Think about it. No one had more confirmation than John. When Mary had got her blessing, her download, who did she run to? Her cousin, Elizabeth. What happened to that baby in her womb? She was carrying John. What happened to that baby in that womb? He leaped. That was first confirmation. Second confirmation. John's doing this thing. I'm baptizing. Yeah. Who? Oh, no. I'm not worthy to untie your bootstraps. You should be baptizing me. Jesus, humble as he can, baptize him. But what happened after that? When John baptized Jesus, the sky cracked open. And God, with a resounding voice, said, this is my son in whom I am well pleased. Who was present when that was said? John. So many times, we get outside, my God, when we get here, we're so strong. We're on fire. We're jumping around. Faith is leaping from person to person to person to person. When we leave here, all of a sudden, it's like, man, go back into this world. Oh, this person will cut me off. Oh, man, this person will cause me to backslide. Oh, man, blah, blah. Yeah, y'all don't get on them. Come down there. Come down. Because y'all looking at a man who is raising every project in Louisville, Kentucky. I have to go back into my environment, to places that I was born and raised at, and they look at me as the same old Lonnell. And that's when doubt sets in. I'm like, maybe I'm not changed. Maybe it's supposed to be this way. But God. I was telling the fellas, when we got here, I was telling the fellas, we were in the room, we was praying and everything. And, I saw Tono. I'm like, dang, Tono dressed up. He's the only one. I'm like, oh, my goodness. But then God said, look at what you put on. Most of y'all don't know my story. At the age of 4, I was first put into a home for psych, behavior disability. I was that little kid on every medication you can think of. At age 10, they tried to diagnose me with bipolar. I guess, Pastor said we're bipolar now, so I guess it never went away. But this shirt right here, the letters are a little different. It's called the Brook Hospital. I was a patient when it was called Timbrook. In and out of that place from ages 4 to 15. I had an institutionalized mentality. And if I don't kill that spirit, it pops right back up into my head. You're always the same. You're always going to look this way. You're always going to act this way. But when I put this shirt on, it lets me know. Same God yesterday, same God last week, same God today, same God next week. Because my faith overrides my doubt. See, faith and doubt, they're synonymous. They're synonymous. Because it's whatever you put your faith in. So if you're doubting, it's going to happen. If you're doubting, it's going to happen. Because you put your faith in that doubt. Oh, man, I got cancer. Look at me. Look, I knew it. My mama got it. It's running in the family. Oh, I'm nobody. My daddy was a nobody. My uncle was a nobody. My grandfather was a nobody. Of course I'm going to be a nobody. But when God comes into your life, when he gives you that confirmation, my God, when he gives you that confirmation, somebody shout confirmation. Confirmation. When he gives you that confirmation, I hold on to that. I hold on to that confirmation. And I said, God, continue to use me. God, continue to usher me along. God, I know I don't see it right now, but go ask. Go ask. Because look, I got 59 seconds. Look. What John was wondering was Jesus going to come in and change my situation? So you got to think. They thought that Jesus was there to overturn the Roman Empire. My God. But the whole time, God showed me this. Listen up. The whole time, he was changing their heart. I'm not going to take you out of that situation, but I'm going to change your heart about that situation so you can change their heart about that situation because I gave you confirmation. Hey! That's why he placed me back into this place that I was once a patient at. And I'm sitting at the table with a bunch of other managers. And we're talking. We're going over things, over products and everything. And I'm sitting back one day and I'm like, my God, he prepares the table in the presence of my enemies. Confirmation!
Amen. Go ahead and rise to your feet. Everybody standing. Everybody standing. If I could have our VPS pastors, you all go ahead and come on down here to the altar. And once you all standing down here. There's an atmosphere in the house. There's an atmosphere in the house of God tonight. From the time we walked in tonight, through the word that was preached tonight, there's an overcoming spirit in the house. There's some people in the house tonight that have anger built up in their heart. Our God is big enough. Our God is big enough. His grace is sufficient to take that heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh tonight. There are people in the house tonight that are full of doubt, that are full of fear. There are people in this room right now that you don't think you're anything. But let me tell you something. If you're nothing, why did the King of Heaven take a cross for you? The King of heaven, the Son of the living God, took a cross for you, took nails for you, took a crown of thorns for you. You're somebody. Your King knows you're somebody tonight. Some of you are still trying to shake free from that addiction. Some of you are still bound in pornography tonight. Some of you are still shaking off that drug, that alcohol, that cigarette, that thing you're still clinging to, that thing that's become an idol to you, that thing you lean on more than you lean on the Son of the living God. It's time to break that off tonight. See, we're not the tail, we're the head. We're not going under, we're going over. He's living in you tonight. He wants to wrap his arms around you tonight. You see, he's more than enough. His blood is more than enough to cover you tonight. On the count of three, if any of this word was meant for you tonight, on count of three, if there's something you're still trying to shake off tonight, you need to be at this altar. If there's something that's still holding you bound, that you need to be set free from, you need to get to this altar. That chain can't hold you anymore. That chain will be broken in the name of Jesus tonight. You will get victory tonight. On the count of three, make your way down to this altar. Don't hesitate. You don't know if you're going to have one more day. You don't know if you're going to have one more hour. You don't know what's going to happen when you leave this house tonight. You need to get yourself down to the altar tonight. On the count of three, make your way down here. 1, 2, 3, hurry. Hurry down to the altar tonight. Get yourself free. Get yourself free. Shake that off tonight. If I can have some more leaders down here. We need more leaders down here. Some ladies. I need some of our ladies down here praying. We're going to be set free tonight. People are set free tonight. You're going to be set free tonight. Tonight's your night.
Let your glory fill this house. Pour it out. Let your love run over. Hear it now. Let your glory fill this house. In fullness of eternal pride.